Tom Wilson's to have an in-person hearing with the NHL Department of Player Safety for his hit on Sunqvist of the St. Louis Blues in the preseason. It's a shocking hit. You have to watch it with the sound on, let alone the sound off. The sound on, the ice level microphones are picking up the contact noise. That tells you how forceful and aggressive and powerful that hit was. He has blindsided a player whose head is up. He's looked him. He's changed the angle of his approach. He hasn't mistimed that. It is a deliberate change of angle of approach. He's hit him in the head at full pelt, and he's left him unconscious on the ice. Yes, he was ejected. He was assessed a match penalty and ejected. Obviously, the amount of footage that they have, the Department of Player Safety have basically made the call and said, we want to have a hearing with you Wednesday morning, which is tomorrow my time. I will admit, missed time challenges happen. I like the physical side of the game. I like the physical play. Occasionally, missed time challenges happen. But when a player regularly gives out headshots, it's wrong. And people will compare him to Scott Stevens back in the day. And Scott Stevens back in the day was actually playing within the rules. There's a change in the rules. The game has changed. The knowledge we now have on concussion, head, neck, and back injuries is such that we didn't have 20 years ago. Scott Stevens, animal of a defenseman, fine. He's admitted that if he was to play today, he A, would play the game slightly differently. He would still be as physical, but would play the game differently. And B, if he played like that, he'll be suspended and banned from the league. He's admitted that the game has evolved. Tom Wilson is from the new generation of player. The fact he's still doing this boggles belief. You know, he's been suspended in the playoffs on the way to the Stanley Cup win. He's been suspended in the regular season more than once. He's a repeat offender. I would expect and I would hope more than 5 games, maybe 10. He's not at Rafi Torres levels yet, and I've used him as an example because he was suspended for a lengthy period of time, but we're getting close. Someone needs to grab a hold of him and say, you cannot keep doing this, because now he's harming the team. He's a very, very important two-way forward. He's a power forward. He does a lot in shutdown play, forecheck play, physical play, but he regularly does this. There is no need for headshots. The regularity he gives out headshots is sickening. And Washington Capitals fans, like his style of play, and that's fine if he didn't do the headshots and the cheap shots, which he does regularly. And yeah, the comparison with Scott Stevens. Scott Stevens was playing in a different era when that was a legal hit. It's not now. In fact, even then, it was not even classed as a decent hit because there would still be consequences of a line brawl because of it. The hit on Paul Career was the changing point. That was just before the 2004 lockout. That was the changing point when even Scott Stevens realised, shit, I could have killed him. And he even admitted that he thought he had killed him until he started breathing again. And there was genuine shock on his face. That was a turning point when the NHLPA and the NHL were like, we need to possibly change the rules on headshots. And fair play to them, they did. But this is a late hit as well. It's clearly premeditated. The pace that he comes in, he cannot have mistimed that. He has lined him up quite some way away. He's nailed him. He's followed through. He's left his feet. It's not max suspension anyway for leaving your feet. In my eyes, he should get more than 5 games. I wouldn't be surprised if the Department of Player Safety, because it's pre-season, give him a lesser suspension, which is wrong. And if I'm trying to compare to European leagues, I do follow what happens in the elite league to a point. I'm obviously a Bracknell Bees fan. We play in the National Ice Hockey League, the NIHL, which is the level below the elite league. If you look at what happened last season with suspensions, the average suspension for a headshot or hit to the head is anywhere between 2 and 5 games. We have seen as high as 6 plus. We had an 18-game suspension last year for a player that plays for my team, the Bracknell Bees. And I think it was a boarding charging penalty, but because he had a previous ban for a headshot as well, they took that into consideration. And he had 2 previous bans that season. He had a total of 26 games banned over 3 offences. Divide that by 3, you get, his ban, which is about 9.5, 10, something like that. Yeah, 21 divided by 3 is 7. 26 divided by 3 is 8, 7.5, 8.5 games, something like that, average. So yeah, we're looking at, I would say, 5 to 10, somewhere around 7 games would be an appropriate ban if we're looking at, comparable leagues around Europe and around the world. Contemporary leagues, that's what I'm saying. Other leagues that are fully professional, we're looking at I would say 5 to 7, high as 10. If he gets anything less than that, I'll be disgusted. But he's having an in-person hearing. I cannot see how he can contest this. The amount of footage is, the hit itself is wrong. But don't get me wrong, I love the contact. I love the fights. I like occasional line brawls. I like the spice and the edge of a game. But when it's a deliberate cheap shot like that, there's no place for it. None. That's not mistimed. That was premeditated. He's got previous. That's my view on it. People may disagree. Some Capitals fans may disagree. But if you look at it, if that was your player on the receiving end of that, that was a Capitals player on the receiving end of that, you'd be calling exactly the same game. That guy needs to be suspended. If Brad Marchand slew-footed someone regularly and it was your player, you would want it to happen. If Kadri did that, you would want a suspension. Tom Wilson has done it. He has previous. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave your thoughts below. I know not everyone will agree on my personal viewpoint on it, but that's my personal viewpoint. I've seen other people disagree with it as well, but that is a sickening hit. We'll have to see how seriously injured Sunqvist is, like with concussion, in the next couple of weeks and months, but he looks seriously hurt there. No place for it, no need for it. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, place your thoughts below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.